For the Sake of All was a collaborative process with scholars from Washington University and St. Louis University. We thought that we would look at disparities impacting African Americans in the St. Louis region, and also look at those social determinants that were driving those disparities. And I think the report helped people to understand the gaping chasms in life outcomes for people who live very near to one another. So, of course, the marquee finding that everyone can now quote by heart is an 18-year gap in life expectancy between a baby born in 63106 in North St. Louis City and a baby born in 63105 in Clayton, 67 years and 85 years respectively, in a geography that's separated by less than 10 miles, 10-minute drive on Highway 40. I think people didn't understand necessarily before that the starkness of that divide and all of the reasons why that divide exists. And that map of life expectancy that we drew didn't just fall out of the sky. These were conscious policy choices over several decades that drew that map of life expectancy. We have to get serious about where people live. We're still dealing with a very segregated metropolitan area. It ought to be possible, no matter where you live in the St. Louis region, to find a grocery store, to find affordable housing, to find safe green spaces for recreation, to find transportation to living wage jobs. There is no silver bullet. There is no magic wand. But the people who say that they're confused about how you do this lack imagination. So what I often say is we don't have an innovation problem. We're not at a loss as to how to deliver excellent education. We're not at a loss as to how you create a thriving and viable community. We have a distribution problem. We know how to do this. We just haven't decided everybody deserves it. I use the analogy that if you left the water on in your bathtub and left home this morning, and you came home to a flooded house, turning off the faucet is just step number one. You haven't fixed anything just because you've turned off the faucet. You still have a flooded house. And I think so often these programs and projects that we do are an attempt to turn off the faucet, or at least turn the water pressure down, or maybe even just change the temperature of the water, rather than realizing that we have cumulative disadvantages over the course of several generations that we have to repair. If you're serious about racial equity, you've got to be committed to unwinding those decades of policy that created unequal situations in the first place.